Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, February 25, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. The soul, or spiritual being, who you actually are, is so huge, all-consuming, and deeply enlightening that ultimately it doesn't matter if you get whatever your ego wants or doesn't want. Your mind ego will always be trying to want something that it thinks will finally bring it to being completely fulfilled and satisfied. The problem with that is that it only knows how to want. That's it. It doesn't know how to relax and rest in having a pure being, or pure being. However, the rabbit hole goes even deeper here. For just recognizing the incessant desiring mind habit is not the final answer to freedom here. The final freedom comes from knowing that when we do get whatever we want, we will also get what we don't want. Whenever we manifest any desire, we always get both. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's, something good comes in and now it's going to be, there's a bad part to it. It depends on how you look at it. Let's just say that when you have a lot of money that you've never had before, probably in many lifetimes, what's the other side of it? Managing it, protecting it, trusting people with it, all of that. And so that would be the other side of it, the responsibility of it. And it's like that with anything. So when you're asking for something, okay, this is when I say in detail, when you're in the now and you're focused on the breath, and you say, okay, so I'm gonna ask the universe for X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. But you're detailed about it, and then you give it some thought. Okay, so what's the other side of it? What am I want to look at and embrace what the other side of it is. And then you ask for it. You kind of write it all down and say, okay, well, over here, I've got so many billions of dollars now, and then over here I've got to figure out a way to have it managed and trust the people around it. That's why we say be mindful of your thoughts. Because, see, then there's people that will go, oh, well, shoot, I'm going to have all this money, and then I've got to deal with all this stuff. See, then the frequency goes down. Not a good thing. That's where you stay in deep gratitude all the time. You've got to. If you don't stay in deep gratitude 24/7, then that'll happen. That ego mind, it will pick and pick and pick until it's totally destroyed what it is you desire or want. Now, it is possible that, and it does happen, where you don't always have this opposite thing, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but, the other part of it, okay, where you won't have the other part of it. It's like you go out and you pay cash for the car of your dreams, right? And whatever it may be, whatever technology, whatever. And so you have the money and you pay for it, and you don't really care about the insurance because the cost of it is superfluous. Okay? Because you have the money, so you don't even think twice about it. So there really isn't. Now, would there be kind of a neutral or negative aspect? Well, who knows? Maybe people get jealous and they say, well, look at them, and they think they're this or that. See what I mean? So there's always something that might come in, and I don't believe it's necessarily negative or bad. It's just on how we perceive it. It's how we look at it and what we turned it into. Big difference. You could have something wonderful happen, and then there's the other side that comes in. And you go, I really didn't think about that part of it. You ever done that? Where you say, I never thought about that part of it before. Oh, okay. It's like somebody gets a exotic sports car, right? And it's so fast. Where are they going to drive it? Unless they go to Germany on the Autobahn. Where are you going to drive it around this country? You really aren't, are you? Unless then you build a travel track. Okay, what's a travel track? Well, it's not a racetrack, but you put up nice trees and everything, a little pond, and for an afternoon you go. Maybe it's a mile, maybe it's a 3-mile track, and you just kind of drive around on the track. Okay, that's about it. You have a straightaway, then maybe you could use the speed that the vehicle is capable of. But there's always things. That's why we say I want to be detailed about what I want. I want to be detailed. I want to look at all the avenues and all the aspects of it, so I know. And then you say that you're deeply grateful for the very moment you're in, and you step out of it. See, it's easy to get caught in it, isn't it? You get caught in it, and then you're sitting there going, you feel heavy. Have you ever done that before? You wanted some things, you got the things, but you feel heavy. You don't feel light. And that's because, number one, you're fretting and worrying about the things you got, right? Which is negative energy and pulls you down, makes it weighted and heavy. And number two, because of that, you're not enjoying it. So it's heavy. Now, when you come into the point, and let's just say that you lose everything. Everything's gone. Everything you've worked for, everything you've accumulated is all wiped out, all gone. And you say, wow, you know something? I feel you don't have a care in the world. You really don't, okay? You don't. None of that stuff is there. It's all gone. I know that might sound strange to people, but it's true. You don't see, because when that happens, you don't have a bill for rent or mortgage. It's gone. Period. Gone. You don't have any of that stuff. None of it. Car insurance, all that. Gone. Completely. What you do have is you. And you realize that, and you start really being grateful for that you have you. Who's you? The God within you. Always. So then you begin to understand, well, I'm going to talk with the God that I am within this body. And then you have the universe. Best friend you could ever ask for. Absolutely. Best friend you could ever ask for. Never makes mistakes. Knows better than you do on a lot of things, on what you want, what you ask for, so on and so forth. So you have a lot at your disposal, but you fall into, like many of us have, the doom and gloom scenario of the ego mind. Woe is me, what am I going to do? How did this happen? Why did this happen to me? All that stuff. And then it just, it expands. Then you start to feel heavy again. The heaviness is because is across the board is that you're not enjoying anything. None of it. No matter what it is. You have a guilt feeling, you worry about this, you worry about tomorrow, you worry about yesterday, and all this stuff is there. So you never really do enjoy it. You ever done that? I wanted this really. I really, really wanted it. It was a dream of mine. You get it, whatever it is. And you're so worried about this and this and this and this, and stressed about this and this, you never really end up enjoying it. So we forget things. We forget part of the journey, some of the things, okay? Have you ever done this? You go out, you go to a get-together, gathering party, whatever, and you might have a little bit too much, and so you go to bed and you wake up and then you have a hangover. But you didn't think about the hangover most of the time. But then as time goes by, you go, no, I'm not interested in having that hangover. I've had those before. I'm not interested in that. See? So you learn. There's so many facets because you learn from it most of the time. I'm not saying all the time. There are some that just will never learn certain developments that the universe puts in front of them. They just keep repeating things. Now, even when we believe we've found our perfect dream life, there's always going to be a need for a feeling of the gratitude about it all, to keep the mind happy, peaceful, and at a higher vibration, so we can evolve and manifest an even more amazing experience of life next year. I'll put it this way. Usually when you're happy deep in your heart mind, okay, the mind is happy. But if you're happy in the head, the ego mind, usually the mind isn't happy because it's not satisfied, ever. But if you're happy in the heart mind is happy. So it's all about, if you were to understand the full impact, and because we've been conditioned and programmed for generations, thousands and thousands of years, that's the challenge, see? And because we're asleep, that's another challenge. You ever met somebody that, and there's a reason why we meet different people. There really is. There's always something the universe brings in specifically for you. Now, you may not look at it that way. And so you have amnesia, okay? Most of us do, if not all of us, because we don't remember things. And what does that mean? We don't remember who and what we are. It's obvious we aren't the body. The body basically is a representation, Earth. Right? The God within the body is heaven. The only place that heaven exists, truly, not the Matrix, not the holographic universe, but the true heaven is you, the God that you are in that body. Irrefutable. And most of the time, mankind doesn't have a clue what it's doing. Does that make sense? Really doesn't. Dappling in things it has no business dappling in because it hasn't discovered who and what it is. That's like trying to put the cart before the horses and say, giddy up. And you go nowhere. But this is what happens. You get arrogance, you get many things that condition and program us into thinking and believing certain things. But no one will know if they don't know who and what they are. It's always going to end up in a dead end. Always, every single time. Now, there's certain perspectives where, you might say when we realize that this life is always going to be a break even, which isn't true. It's not always going to be a break even. win-lose experience with every desire we go after. We start to relax about the whole game and drop into something deeper inside. In the beginning, this dropping in can feel like apathy, thinking, what's the point of it all? If we always get what we want and what we don't want, and never only just the goodies. Yet this feeling will soon fall away when we see that the nature of desire, which means not having, right, is pure suffering. And that inner peace with desire actually manifests our desires much more easily. Then the great ride of life becomes enjoyable along the way. So it's all in how we perceive. It's all in what we believe, and it's all in what we focus upon, this life. See, we begin to stop trying to manipulate and control this life so as to get it to flow our way. We stop being greedy, needy, and full of selfish egoic agendas. Then there arises this feeling of complete surrender to the grand totality of life, majesty of our being. In the simple awareness of this profound truth, we gently begin to relax into our spiritual nature and thus become a more powerful manifesting magnet for everything our heart desires. Now, life's problems for any of us may be complicated, yet the answers are always very, very, very simple. We know that this universe is full of mystery and paradox. When we give up on wanting something, which we've all done more than once, we just say, you know what, forget it, right? We become a stronger magnet for receiving it. When we let go, we receive. When we hold on, we don't. Okay? When we let go, we receive. When we hold on, we don't. Because, well, how is that? It's because everything flows to us, for us, not away from us. We've been taught to chase it, grab it, pull it in. But it's always there. Well, then how come not everybody is experiencing jubilation and joy and bliss every day of their lives? Well, it's kind of a checkup from the neck up. You figure out yourself what is it that you're blocking through the ego mind. How do you do that? You begin to step away from the ego mind. You watch it. You don't judge it. You watch it. Most of us will learn how to do things by watching. Have you ever done that? A lot of people will go to YouTube and they really don't know how they're going to do something, okay? Where do I begin type thing. And they go on YouTube and they watch other people do the same thing that they want to do. And by watching it, they learn how to do it. There isn't, 30 pages of text. They just watch someone else do it. You ever do that as a kid? As kids, we always would mimic adults, wouldn't we? We'd think they were silly, number one. And we'd also say, well, why are they raising their voices? What the heck are they raising their voices for? But we would watch. See, as children, we copy. we watch and listen to adults, and we copy them because we think that they're the authority and that they're the credibility and that what they're doing is the right thing, so we should do that. Didn't you do that growing up as a kid? We didn't have any reference because we didn't remember anything, right, from past lives. So we would copy adults, watch them, see what they do. And we would copy each other as children. Someone eats with their hands because that's what they were taught to do, and then you come along and you have a fork, a knife, and a spoon. And slowly but surely you teach them how to use a fork, a knife, and a spoon. A long time ago, we just used our hands. That was it, to eat with. So it's always copying. Have you ever watched somebody, like if you want to learn how to dance and you watch the videos of people dancing and you find that you learn it and then you dance. It's self-taught, right? There's a lot to be said about self-taught rather than the so-called education. Self-taught. How did you learn how to do that? Taught myself. Wow, that's wild. And it's not ego-minded at all. You just say, well, I learned how to do this because I taught myself how to do it. That's pretty cool. Rather than going to somebody and going through pages and pages and pages of crap, and then by the time you're so bored halfway through it, you go, man, this isn't any fun at all. When you enjoy something, isn't it much different than the things you do that you don't enjoy? Well, you got to do it. Even if you don't like it, you got to do it. Right? So how do you do that if there's something you don't like doing? There's a lot of things we don't like doing that other people do that they like, but there's things that we don't like doing. So we try to figure out a way not to do them. Then when we do them, there's no attention there. There is no love there. There's nothing there. You do it because you feel you have to do it. And when that happens, you're exuding low frequencies, low vibrational frequencies. So whatever it is you're doing doesn't work out well at all. And we think it's because, well, it's just blah, 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 blah. But in reality, it's you, the powerful being that you are within that body. That's what happens. Whatever it is. It's like, I don't like mowing the lawn. I don't care to mow the lawn. Boring. So you look at it from this standpoint. I have 2 legs I walk with. I have 2 hands I grab with. I have eyes I can see with. I can mow the lawn. I'm deeply grateful for that. See, that's the switch. We can all do it. And even if you do it and you don't feel it, keep doing it. You'll feel it. It's a whole different ballgame. It's our perspective, and it's how we apply what we have been programmed and conditioned to believe. It's what it is. Have you ever had someone tell you something? Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't care to do that. No, because this, and this. And then you say, something's not right with that. Maybe they had a bad experience with what they were doing. And so it left a low frequency with them. And so every time it came up, they would discuss with somebody, and it would be a low frequency from their perspective. And then you say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. You do it, and it works out wonderfully well. Okay? So sometimes when people give you advice, maybe what they experience is a whole lot different than what you will experience, but they give advice based upon that experience that they had. And that's how things work on this planet. Well, John told me. when he was doing this and this and this happened, it was really a mess and blah, blah, blah. So then some people say, well, I'm not going to do it then. He or she had a bad experience with it, so, what's going to stop me from not having a bad experience with it? And it's not so much, it's the gratitude that we exude genuinely to be able to do anything, period. That's what keeps us in higher frequency. To be able to do anything. Now, talk with people that have no hands, arms, legs, no eyes. And see how they perceive things. It's like you want to be tall, right? You're not satisfied with your height, so you say, I want to be this height. And the day is going to come where you're going to be able to do that. I don't like the height I'm at. Now, you've got, and it's interesting because when you talk with someone who is the opposite that you are, they want to be what you don't want to be. Isn't that amazing? They want to be what you don't want to be. And you want to be what they don't want to be. Because it's really difficult for us to perceive ahead of time what emotional adjusting we will experience that we have no clue about. Zero. Period. We only have a perception through the ego mind, not the heart mind, the ego mind. We only have a perception of what we believe we will experience, making this change. And it really is never that way. It may be in the beginning, but yet, it's like anything. It's kind of a novelty. And then we find things that aren't the greatest with being that way. They start coming in. So there's a lot to be said across the board. What is it you truly want to change? Okay? Because again, we get both sides of whatever it is. Both sides. And I think a lot of us don't address the other side. We're just focused on the one side. It's like you receive or get something that you've really, really, really focused on for a while, and then you go, wow, I didn't know it was going to be this way. I had no clue that by having this was going to be this way. Now, is life a gambling casino for us? Where we always win whatever we bet? If we bet 5, we get 5 back each time? Or there's always an even outcome, a perfect balance to this life, which makes everything fair in the end? Karmically, we always get whatever we put in. We always get whatever we put into our lives. Some say life is unfair. You've heard that, haven't you? Yet life actually is completely fair. Everything balances itself out in the end. We simply choose to look for the rainbow when we're drowning in the rainstorm. There is always a brilliant wave of light underneath every dark undertow of fear. It is. All of us have experienced that quite a few times. This universe was set up this way. So we can remain neutral, relaxed in the awareness that is at the center of our being. which subsequently is also the center of this entire universe. How many times have you experienced this? Any of us. The trick to this life is to be continually alert to the new, because nothing is ever as it seems. This is what we're experiencing right now. Nothing is ever as it seems. You look around you, right? You know, the old saying, never judge a book by its cover. Beauty is only skin deep. So there's a lot to be said to being alert, because nothing is ever as it seems. We can think a person is a certain rigid way our whole lives, right? Only at the end to realize that they had a hidden, flexible part that we could never see. It's how we see things that makes them what they are. Somebody might look at something, right? Two of you could be standing there, three of you, and you're both looking at the same thing. But you all view it differently. Our perception of people, colors, and it taints them. Our perception of people, colors, taints them, yet does not come close to the truth of their grand totality. Every one of us are a permanent grand mystery to be experienced and explored. When we choose to hold this understanding as sacred, our relationships and communications with others, including ourselves, unfold in a much more enlightening way. Now, once we become conscious about this perpetual balanced nature of duality, the incessant desiring game will absolutely, completely subside. Then we are eased into a nesting area of true relaxation within our hearts and lives. Here we can experience the grace and joy of our divinity, the healing quality of our being. We can discover real freedom, our true essence, and our essential nature. A good quote by Robert Adams is, observe the mind. When thoughts come, ask to whom do these thoughts come to? Always watch, witness, and observe. Do not get caught in thought. Just surrender. Most of us get caught in thought. We don't surrender. Why? Well, for some it's an unknown. Well, if I surrender, I've given up, or I'm going to lose it. And it's not true. You're surrendering the whole thing. You're just going to let it go, and the universe will take care of it. You just let it go. I'm not going to get into a huge belaboring issue, you say to yourself. There's no reason for it. You know what, universe? This is yours. I let it go. I surrender it. So what is life, this mystery we call life? What is it here for? What are we doing? All of us. Well, life is here to challenge us to grow in ways we cannot imagine. Our lives are meant to be dangerous so that we don't fall asleep at the wheel and take this amazing world for granted, which many have done. Okay? They have fallen asleep at the wheel, and they have taken this amazing world for granted. It is the scariest ride, and at the same time, the most exhilarating one we will ever be on. It is in our darkest hours of this life that we simply need to learn how to relax. Let go of our agendas, realize that the light is always on at the end of the tunnel. Our real challenge is to learn how to do this every day, trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly as it should for our soul's highest evolution in consciousness. When we accept this divine challenge, we stop resisting this opportunity to grow and take it on as an enlightening adventure. Now, if any of us would like to experience being truly unstoppable in our lives, then we would choose how to increase, learn how to increase our consciousness and expand our energy by tapping into a higher vibration of belief in ourselves. We won't care so much if things go exactly as planned. Instead, we will just continue to do what inspires us and lifts our vibration. There is a way we can turn up our energy so high that nothing can get in our way. And it starts with a commitment to ourselves that we will keep sacred for the rest of our lives. This commitment is to be kind to yourself, gentle with you, and never, ever come down hard on yourself no matter what. Follow this one wonderful little secret for even a few weeks in a row, and you'll start increasing your vibration to attract, create, and manifest everything your heart desires absolutely. When we embrace, and we know, okay, we really do know in our heart mind that we are a God within this body. We really embrace that. And we know that emphatically so, without questioning, wondering, worrying, stressing, fearing, guilt, all of it, ego-minded. We follow ourselves. We don't follow anything outside of us. We follow ourselves. Well, that sounds kind of strange. We're talking about we follow the God that we are. We listen to the God that we are. We ask questions to the God we are. And we get answers from the God we are. We pray, right? We pray to the God that we are. We worship. We worship the God that we are. We embrace the God that we are. And it's all connected. So when someone says, oh, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to be able to do any of that stuff. This happens to a lot of children. Do something else. You're never going to be able to do that. And when you've learned that just rolls off of you, it doesn't affect you. And what you intend and what you embrace with deep gratitude, and you're super kind to yourself at all times, will be. No matter what anybody else says, it will be. It's just that the ego mind causes us to start going what? Doubt. A little doubt comes in, fear, guilt, all that stuff. You know what it is? All it is thought. It's just thoughts. That's it. Thoughts are nothing unless we give them something. They really are nothing. They're just thoughts. Little impulses passing through our brains. That's it. But imagine when you don't know who and what you are, okay? And your journey is always outside of you, looking, seeking, searching through the ego mind. What is the life that you create for yourself? Well, with the ego mind, you have worry, stress, fear, anxiety. You're always concerned about tomorrow and yesterday. And you're never in the now. Wow. That's a lot, isn't it? Whew. Is it a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. But it's what most of us do. Most of us do it. But we don't know we're doing it. We really don't. Because we've done it for so long. It just feels natural, right? When, I interviewed a lot of people years ago. Thousands of people. And I would always ask, right in the beginning, I would, a little warm up, and then I would ask, do you enjoy what you do? And I would watch their body language, and I would watch their eyes, and I would wait for an answer. Some of the answers I would get, which to me is a cop-out, I never really thought about it. I'll have to give that some thought. Or, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Or, I don't like it at all. It's not something that I care to be doing a year from now. Or, I really love what I do. To me, this is not work. It's fun. It's joy. See, because when you can do something, and let's say you've got some friends, and it's a Friday, right? And they say, come on, come with us. Let's go out, paint the town, whatever. Have a dinner. And you go, well, no, I'm doing some work, right, from the office, because you enjoy it so much. That's what you're doing. You're at home and you're doing some work. And to you, it's not work; it's joy because you enjoy it so much. And so your friends will say, come on, give it a break. Give it a break. You need to relax. And you are relaxed because you enjoy it so much. It's not a hassle. It's not a stress. It's absolutely therapeutic. And have you noticed, in this life alone, when you come across people like that, What do you feel? What do you feel? Well, some people will first say, oh, they're just putting it on. Yeah, they're putting it on. But you can't negate it because you can feel it coming from them, their exuberation. Do what you love doing, not what you don't. Because the ego mind will suck you in every time you find yourself caught in doing something you don't enjoy doing. And I've known people that have done it for 30 years. They don't enjoy doing it. And there's things about it that keep them there because they wouldn't know what to do with themselves otherwise. And you know, it's interesting. Okay. The word retire. Isn't that crazy? Retire what? Well, I'm going to go play golf. You're going to play golf every day the rest of your life. Boring? No. I'm just going to hang out and talk with friends and that type of thing. Boring? Because believe it or not, when we retire, that is a conditioning and a programming for the civilization. Because what is it connected to? It's connected to the ego mind. What does it say to us? It's time for me to retire. Yep. Getting too old for this stuff. Those are all negative comments to yourself. And statistics, okay, for the majority of people, not all, but the majority, within 5 years after someone retires, they leave the body. You don't hear about it, but it's true. It's not front and center. Because they don't know what to do with themselves. I'm retired. Like it's, here as a gold star. But if we continue to do things and remain active and interactive and socially interactive, what does that do for us? You live longer. Body, you, in the body, stay around longer. And you're motivated to do things to keep your body fitter. Keep the blood moving. When people retire, they don't keep the blood moving. They really don't. They say they are. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And then there's other factors involved. Well, do you have, $50,000 of cash hanging around, spendable cash, that you can go take these trips and go here and buy this and buy that? And they find out, no, not really. Okay, so. And the point is that we will always create, due to our programming and conditioning and not discovering the fact that we can reprogram ourselves. Through discovery, we can dump our hard drives and we can start reprogramming ourselves. Because when you discover that everything out there not only is an illusion, it's untrue. It's untrue. You can do anything you desire, anything you want, period. There's just, as I share things with you, these are the things that you embrace to assist you in having the life that you've always wanted and desired. Now, into this quiet time of the meditation, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to invite you to let your mind ponder about one basic idea. Everything is perfect in this universe and exactly as it should be. The only imperfections that exist are those created by the mind. So everything is either a misguided projection, a highly creative interpretation, a decorated perception of perfection forming in our brains. Meditating on this one simple truth will liberate us from many years of suffering. Everything is perfect as it is. All imperfections that we see are imaginary. If and when we can dwell on this concept and hold on to it for even a few minutes, we will notice that we will start to feel lighter, have more inner clarity, the sense of spiritual freedom throughout our day. I'll join in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Be extra gentle with yourself today. If there is one thing that was 100% guaranteed to make your life easier, lighter, and more beautiful, it's this. Always being gentle with you. When you allow this gentleness to become the number one priority of your life, you connect with the infinite intelligence that is inside you and around you. Allow this sacred healing space to move through your body today. It will heal your mind, transform your life, and improve everything. And it just feels so good to bathe in this sacred healing flow. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Monday, February 26, 2024, around 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you.